Get out of Taipei for a bit with Voice of South Taiwan. Each week, join us in discovering the best that the southern side of the country has to offer. You'll uncover a part of Taiwan that you never knew you needed to know. The Kaohsiung Wude Hall is a dojo, a large house dedicated to martial arts. A place that keeps alive the legacy of the legendary Japanese swordsmaster Musashi.
For me, it's really important. The legacy of Musashi 400 years ago, he killed 70 enemy in a big war.
We are talking to a master of kyudo, the Japanese tradition of archery.
My name is Kaohsiung Wude. I'm here to do the kyudo performance for the 100-year birthday of Budokte. I'm from Taipei. When I start kyudo, I come with my senpai, a senior fellow, come here to do the demonstration. During that time, I was a student. But after 10 years, I become a kyudo master, kyudo teacher actually. So return here. So for me, it's kind of memorial. Have this chance because of the invitation from the Chen Sensei.
Kyudo is one of several budo, the word used to qualify martial arts.
For Japanese people, they consider the kyudo is the highest budo in Japanese culture. Bows and arrow indicated the evil, to chase the evil away. Yeah, and have the sacred power. And also I was assessed from the Nagoya kyudo family. The kyudo family actually pass on 4 generations. Each of the family who hold the highest shogo, they call it hanshi, and also highest dan, they have the nice dan from the grandfather. And also from my sensei, is also my teacher is also the hanshi kyudan. It's quite rare, and the way we shoot is we raise our bow in the side way, not in the front, in the side way, and the way we do is actually tracing for 400 years ago. So it's kind of rare to have this kind of style in Taiwan also. Yeah. So for this perspective, I'm a little bit similar with Musashi Sensei.
On the 13th of July, the dojo celebrated its centenary. Tsung Hunmin of the city of Kaohsiung comments on the restoration of the building through a translator.
This place was built in 1924, and this year is the 20 years after this place was restored by Kaohsiung Culture Bureau, and also the 100 years anniversary when it was built. So Kaohsiung Culture Bureau would like to have this event just to make everybody know that this place has been here, and I want to make it a remarkable anniversary to make more people to realize that this place is so historical and so meaningful, and then to make the public know about this place.
The 100-years-old dojo remains true to the teachings of Musashi, the legendary martial artist who left a legacy of wisdom and fighting spirit unparalleled in East Asia. The disciples of Musashi perpetrated his teachings generation after generation. We are now at the 11th generation, and it has only one member left, who officiates here in the Kaohsiung Wude Hall. He tells us through a translator how his story and that of Musashi became intertwined.
My name is Kaohsiung Wude, the 11th generation's successors of Musashi, and I'm also the chair of Taiwan Kendo Associations. Musashi is 400 years ago a very famous Japanese kenshi, because the 8th generation of a Musashi successor came to Taiwan about 100 and something years ago, and he was teaching in Taiwan. And after the World War II, so all the Japanese they would have to go back to Japan. They cannot bring anything with them. Like a very important treasure from Musashi is a wooden sword, and the 8th generation successor, he cannot bring that back. He will have to leave it in Taiwan. So he left it with one of his students in Taiwan. Because the wooden sword to the 8th generation successor is more important than his life. So he must do everything he can to protect that sword, because that sword was the original sword that Musashi was used 400 years ago.
The end of Japanese rule in Taiwan means he had to leave.
Okay, so after he gave that sword to his students, he returned to Japan. And quite a decades after, when Japan and Taiwan become friendly again, the 8th generation successor came back to Taiwan to get that sword. And it happened to be the students who protect the sword. The sword was his kendo sensei as well. So after the 8th, 9th, and 10th generations, the wooden sword was kept in Japan, generations by generations. And when Master Chen, when he grew up, much older, he went to Japan to study. And coincidentally, he met the 10th generations of Musashi's successor, and they become friends. And then he and the Musashi 10th generation become very good friends, and he also practiced kendo there.
The tale of the master goes on as he enters the story.
So after the 10th generations of successor knew that Master Chen is the student of the students who protect the soul, he changed his attitude to be friend with him. He treated him like a proper kendo student and started to train him for almost 20 years. The 10th generation successor took Master Chen around Japan to challenge each dojo around Japan. 20 years ago, the 10th generation of successor decided that 3 people can be the 11th generation successor. And then, unfortunately, the other 2, they passed away very quickly. So he's now the only successor of the 11th generations. He also received the greatest challenge in Japan, which is called Tachikiri, means that he would have to stand there to fight the best kendo masters all around Japan, one by one.
And here is the fate of the sword.
Because that wooden sword had a tragedy life before. So now, after the 10th generations, they decided the wooden sword is not allowed to pass on to anyone outside of Japan. So the 400 years wooden sword is now presented and kept well in Japanese Shinsha. It's called Usa Hajiban Jingo. Okay, but then to prove that he is an 11th generation of successor, the 10th generation successor, he remake 2 swords for him, one long one and one short one, and also written a 5 meters long Musashi's secret move book and passed on to him.
Although a practitioner of blade martial arts, he also invited archers to join the dojo.
Actually, it all starts with Butokden's logo. You can see the logo here is archery penetrate the target, and it's called One Shot, One Life. It's really interesting for the Butokden. It's only for kendo, but not kyudo, but use the arrow hit target as a symbol of the Butokden. Because of the logo, the Jin Sensei think it will be wonderful to have kyudo again in Butokden. So not only for kendo, but also kyudo. And the grass area next to the Butokden, Jin Sensei is thinking about maybe in the future there will become a kyudo-jo, the kyudo fields for people who use Japanese archery here, and to make the Japanese culture continuously here, and in variety of the budo, not only for sword also the bows and arrow.
Martial arts emphasize spiritual teachings, which are put in practice in a dangerous situation, where wisdom can make the difference between life and death.
For example, the kyudo, the kendo, everything with do, the way, the miji, the way. So actually, if you consider the way is like a road, you come from the A point to the B point. But it's not for the target, but for the process. In the present time, you have the awareness of the present time, and that's also in the kendo. In variety of possibility, you have to find a way to against your enemy. But for us, we don't have the enemy. We only have the target. So the only enemy is ourselves, our heart. We have to stay strong, stay calm, and stay focused to against the weakness of ourselves. So I think that's pay attention to the present time, pay attention, focusing your inner enemy is spirit through all style of martial arts.
Our kyudo master tells us the biggest challenge is inside.
I participate the kyudo world competition for 3 times. And I won the second place of Kyudo World Cup. And actually Taiwan won the Kyudo World Cup in the second place in 2018. And this year I'm also joined the Taiwan teams and with my student. So it's really interesting. I bring my student to participate the competition, but for us, it's always a difficult task is to facing the inner weakness.
In the little pavilion behind the dojo, the two masters are sharing a drink around a traditional Japanese table. The young master of archery and the elderly 11th generation heir of Musashi. What would the younger man ask to the older man?
If I have only question, when you face a lot of the enemy like a flood comes to you, how did he deal with the pressure? How did he deal with the weakness inside his heart? I want to ask that.
How about you ask him? I'm curious to know the answer.
Sensei.
And here is what the old master answers.
When I ask the question to Sensei give me a really, really simple answer. I ask him, do you feel a fear to the enemy? He say, no, why? Just like that. No, why? And the most important thing I consider about is my strength, my physical ability to manage their attack. Physical condition. He uses his mind to also experience to try to get away from to the fight to win. Yes.
Now the 11th generation here of Musashi is looking for the next ones.
It's because he wants to pass on the Musashi spirit, and he also wants to see who can be the next generation. So every year he hold the world kendo competition in here. You will see around 200 to 300 kenshi all around the world. So this is one of the best competitions and well known in the kendo world around the world.
The restoration of the dojo and its continuous use as a center for martial arts shows the way Kaohsiung manages the legacy of its time under Japanese rule. A heritage of wisdom and culture that adds to the mixture of the identity of South Taiwan's largest city.